All right, what does it take to be a Navy SEAL? Well, that is not a simple question, as a matter of fact. Mark Devine is here. He knows. He served both on active duty and served as a reserve for many, many years, and now he's here to debunk some of the myths for us. For the longest time, they really operated in the shadows. We knew nothing about them, but now, because of the news and, of course, several high-profile films, we're getting a little peek into their world. But what do we really know, and how much of that is false? Well, Mark Devine joins us here this morning. He just wrote the book. It's called
The Way of the SEAL.
The Way of the SEAL. And you spent how many years with the teams?
20 years total, yeah.
20 years total, 9 years, was it?
So 9 years were active, running and gunning with the guys,
right.
And then 11 years as a reserve officer. 2 of those years were mobilized active duty, once during Iraq and another time earlier.
So you've only been out for a couple of years, and
right.
you're not really out. What are you doing now?
Yeah, I've got a business where I actually train Spec Ops candidates. A lot of Navy SEALs come through my training. It's called SEAL Fit. And we're focused on both the physical and the mental, as well as that non-quitting spirit. You know, that piece that, that's going to make someone go the distance and not be a statistic.
What do you think the biggest myth is? Because I know you're into debunking some of those myths. What do you think it is?
Sure. Well, people think, and we were talking about this earlier, think that SEAL training is all physical. And then so you ask people, say, what is it really? And they say, well, it's 90% mental. And that's true. It is 90% mental, but only if you've got the physical foundation.
Yeah, this is like, to discount the physical portion
Sure.
of this is foolish.
For
it
sure.
really is, because as I was telling you during the break, to me it's like you've got King Kong and Godzilla here
right.
to start with. Those are your candidates.
Right.
And you're just trying to decide who has the better mindset.
For sure. This is like, the difference between the Olympians who make it to the podium and don't. They're still phenomenal athletes to even make it to the games, but it's that mental edge that puts you on the podium or gives you that slight difference.
Are you uncomfortable with the fact that the SEALs have become high profile now after so many years of operating, and I think understandably so, in the shadows for your own protection and for your own efficiency as operators? Are you uncomfortable with the films that are out there now, or are you proud of what's out there?
I'm both.
Okay.
I'm proud of the proper depiction of the SEAL ethos and the character of the SEAL and the training. I'm uncomfortable when we cross, when individuals or even the organization itself can cross the boundary a little bit and shows things that don't need to be shown. Gives tactics and maybe insights that can be exploited. So I'm uncomfortable with that as well.
And what about the films that are out there? Active Valor, for example. What do you
Valor,
think?
Okay.
Just okay?
Lone Survivor. Thumbs up. Really? Fantastic show, extremely realistic. Now, Active Valor was realistic, but it was one of those that just, I didn't think it really needed to be done. It should have stayed as a recruiting video.
Okay. All right. But that's, again, it's hard for any of us to get anywhere close to your mindset. Right. Explain what it is, though, that a guy, what's the trick? What's the secret? What's the thing that a SEAL turns on that the rest of the world doesn't even possess, that allows you to do things that most people would look at and say, that's impossible, it can't be done?
Well, it's all in the training, right? The training both to get into the front door of the SEALs has an element of physical ardor that is uncommon, right? And so those who really decide that they will be SEALs, first of all, there's that element of choice. They've got an extremely strong motivation, or we call it the why, that they're driving toward that, and they have a singular focus to get there. And so along the path to get there, they seek out mentors, and these mentors, like myself, will say, you know what, if you want to get there, you train for combat, you don't train for buds. You train harder and smarter than anybody else. And then through that training, they find the mental fortitude and the emotional resiliency to go the distance. And then they learn to develop the mental control when they're in the actual event of SEAL training itself, so that every day becomes every day is a single event. I wake up, I kick ass, I take names, I go to bed, and then I do it again tomorrow, and you don't let anything else distract you.
You see, I could sit and talk about this for hours and hours and hours and know that I can never fully relate, and I admit that. When you retire and you come out and you join, the rest of the mortals here in the world, it's got to be a little difficult at times, because you don't see discipline in society the way that you're used to operating. Isn't that difficult for you?
It's a challenge. It was a challenge when I started my first business, which was here in San Diego, Coronado Brewing Company. And you sold out of Coronado Brewing. You sold your share out of it. I sold my interest to my partners, and I decided to do something about it. And that's why I essentially wrote the book and started the program that became my way of of helping people understand that they can step up to a little bit higher level of functioning, and that they can do it by, number one, appreciating or understanding that they're capable of far more than they believe or that they've been told, right? And then number two is giving them the tools and the daily training to, to essentially, move there a little bit closer, 1% closer every day, and then to test themselves through these challenging crucible events, such as, what we did in Hell Week during the SEAL training. So, I mean, that's my way of kind of dealing with,
It's your own coping mechanism.
That's my coping
mechanism.
Help train others.
It's the way of the SEALs, Mark Devine. SEALFit.com. Can the average person go there and?
Absolutely. Everyone's got to start somewhere. Even a Navy SEAL started with a single push-up. So SEALFit.com, we've got a program to basically get you started along the path, whether you're looking for the mental training alone, that's called Unbeatable Mind, or you want to step right into the hardcore functional training.
The Way of the SEALs, the book, and SEALFit.com. And it's Mark Devine. God bless you, and thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you.